Hey, we back with it. We are back with it. First off, I want to let you know, if you thought that I wasn't going to give you some word this Sunday, I understand. I understand. You know, it feels like it keeps getting later and later, but hey, life just keeps getting busier and busier. I always asked for the plate to be full. And now that the plate is full, I'm having a little struggle, you know what I'm saying? Eating the full course. However, we don't complain about things like that, you know what I'm saying? God is blessing me oh so much. Oh so much. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take time right now to say, thank you, God. Thank you not only for being as loving as you are, as being as forgiving as you are, as being as caring as you are, Lord. But I just want to thank you for being you. I want to thank you for being the creator. I want to thank you for being the type of God that you are, Lord. I want to thank you for putting your spirit within me, allowing me to worship you and praise you. And then allowing me once again to have the spirit to share it with others. Thank you so much, God. Amen. Can I get an amen on that one? All right. Now, I have some important word for y'all today. Okay. And see, look, I done already got ahead of myself. Whew. I got some word for y'all today. Okay. Now, I hope y'all seeing the full scale of my setup today. Because I got resources. And I ain't come to play. All right. Because I got a message for you. All right. Now, I want to start off by saying, first off, this is not Bible study. Okay. Or perhaps it is. But for the sake of me not confusing you with my purpose for doing this, I'm going to say this is not a Bible study, okay? I want to call this, I'm just bringing verses, you know, the word of God that spoke to me. I'm just bringing it to your attention, okay? I am here to guide you today. And that is all, okay? You got to do the homework. All right, if you want to learn about God, that's what the Holy Bible is for. It teach you everything you need to know. Go do your homework. The teacher's right here is telling you, go do your homework, okay? Now today, we're getting into the whole, I'm not going to read over the whole chapter, but this chapter specifically really spoke out to me because it reminds me a lot of my younger self, okay? And that chapter is Ecclesiastes. Now, if you know what Ecclesiastes is, you might say, Tonio, how can you say that reminds me? How can you say that reminds you, speaking of me, how does that remind you of your older self when we're talking about wisdom? All right. And before we break it down completely, let's give some backstory. So boom, you see this painting right here? This painting is called The Silent Suffering of a Genius, okay? And when I posted this painting on Instagram, I had a caption with it. Let me read you the caption, okay? Now, first off, follow the Instagram, okay? I'm promoting the art. Every Sunday, I'm giving you the word. I'm just saying, come mess with a brother. Come see what I'm working with. You feel me? That's all I'm asking. That's all I can ask, really. Hold on, my chips, my lips chapped. Let me go get right. All right. Now, in the captions, when I post my paintings, like not the reels, just the picture. When I just post the painting on my main feed, I've been putting almost like a description, a backstory of where these paintings come from, the raw emotions that went into it. I'm really just showing you I'm pouring my whole heart into these art pieces, y'all. I ain't just making cool pictures just for you to enjoy. I'm soul searching when I pick up that paintbrush. You don't understand. It's deeper than that. It hit different. But this is what I got for The silent suffering of a genius. I start off by saying, I didn't have role models, good examples, or strong male figures. Everything that shapes me as a person was either given to me by the grace of God or I taught myself through wisdom and experience. I was wise slow it down. I was wise beyond my years as a child, and since people took advantage of what I knew, what I could provide, and my lack of emotional regulation, I seen my wisdom as a burden. I started dumbing myself down, masking my thoughts and feelings, and learning the art of acting dumb. Do your homework on that one. My life has never been easy. I've had so many setbacks, and my understanding of how grim and traumatic this world can be didn't help. It led to depression, suicidal thoughts, and thinking that I wouldn't make it to 18. In 2020, I went through a spiritual awakening, beat depression, fell back in love with art and life again. My spirit is much stronger than it ever was. I'm sorry, y'all. I might need some glasses. I might need some reading glasses. I'm getting old. My spirit is stronger than it ever was back then, and I don't think I could ever fall that low again. Appreciation for life aside, it's still been hard to get out of the comfort and convenience of the shell I built for myself. It is manifested into the form of anxiety, paranoia, and overthinking. I'm realizing just now that, like before, this was just another trial in the journey of finding myself again. I'm tired of dumbing myself down and letting people have this misconception of who I am. I let so many people lie and play in my face, and since I remain silent, they think I'm oblivious. It's a good tactic for letting people show you their true colors, but I'm at a point now where I just can't go for it. I've remained humble, but I plan to pop my shit overly. Now, that last sentence, we're going to take that back. We are remaining humble forever, okay? Hey, God has taught me, he showed me too many times. You want to pop it? All right. I'm going to pop you. Get you a good little setback since you think you over somebody. We stand humble for the rest of life. You know what I'm saying? And let's hope that ego stays in line. But, I think that kind of puts you in the mindset of where I was when it comes in terms of making this painting, right? But for me, it brings me back to that time when I was struggling with the burden of wisdom. All right. Do your homework on the burden of wisdom. You can't do your homework on it unless you're wise. So some of y'all ain't even got that assignment unlocked, but it's okay. It's okay. That's why I'm here to try my hardest to explain it. Okay. My fault. I need to calm down. My heart beating. Why I'm so scared? In this Bible over here, it has a little introduction sentence kind of explaining what Ecclesiastes is. And I want to read it for you so that you can, as a whole, understand what Ecclesiastes is about. All right. It says, Ecclesiastes studies the meaning of life. The teacher looks at wisdom, pleasure, work, power, riches, religion, and other things. All of these have some value and are useful in the proper time and place, but they have lasting value only if God is at the center of a person's life. Reverence and respect for God and a real devotion in serving God are the most important to make life meaningful. Without God, the teacher says, everything is meaningless. And in the King James Version, he says, is vanity or in vain. And I feel like, as you'll see, or as you'll hear when we get deeper into what I want to read today, I think that that's a part of searching for purpose that kind of gets lost when we express to others the journey, right? Because in Ecclesiastes, he says that everything is meaningless. Whether you're smart, you're dumb, whether you're righteous or unrighteous, whether you're a good or bad person, all of it is meaningless if God is not at the center. Okay. And we can bring that into so many things because he says everything. I want that to be, I need to get like a little whiteboard or something, but I want that to be the main thing that you understand. He says everything is meaningless without God. Okay? But today, I'm going to be talking about pleasure specifically. Okay? Now, I like to say, or the reason I really like to put it into perspective that this is not a Bible study, because I don't want you to think that I am holier than thou. I don't want you to think that I just got it all figured out. I don't want you to think that I even have read 10% of this book. This is a journey that you're going along with me, okay? The biggest things in my life was finding purpose, finding meaning to all of this. I've been through so much pain, so much agony, so much misery for a minute, that by the time where I start questioning what I want to do with my life, I was like Ecclesiastes, trying to find the meaning in all of this. And Ecclesiastes came to the conclusion that everything is meaningless. And to that, he has a point. He has a point, and we're going to get into why he has a point. But pleasure, okay? Pleasure, let's talk about it. Your boy has stopped smoking and drinking. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for everybody. This is me personally. I feel like getting rid of substance it's not the hardest thing in the world. It's easier to not intake something that will disrupt your spirit than to not let something out. Let's get on the topic of lust. You know what I mean? The most dangerous sin, the most dangerous of temptations, the one that challenges even the most powerful soldiers. I'm going to look it up right now. I want to know, did Jesus struggle with lust? I'm just curious. Here, we're going to ask Google right here with it. Did Jesus struggle with lust? Because I'm not going to act like I know the full story. No, Jesus did not struggle with lust. Okay. And I haven't got to their stories yet, but I know there are many people in the Bible who did struggle with lust. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I'm sorry, let me stop saying I feel like, because I'm coming to you with information. You know what I mean? So let's stop talking about feelings, okay? Pleasure, like when we come down to, really connecting with God, really living a righteous life, I feel like the pleasures is where it's the easiest to be confused, okay? Because in the Bible, we speak about drinking, we speak about having sex with women, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of pleasures out here now at this point, You can find pleasure in scrolling TikTok. You can find pleasure in masturbation. You can find pleasure in, like, do I have to keep finding examples? I feel like those two right there, you know what I'm saying? Those are the newest, the ones that are, it's nowhere in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Nothing about pleasuring that wiener. Yo, all right, my fault. I'm being too playful right now. Let's lock in. You lose a piece of yourself spiritually without even knowing it. Just because you want to feel pleasure in the flesh, you're losing connection. You're losing energy. You're losing life to fulfill pleasure that's going to be going. And somebody put this into perspective for me, why masturbation and pornography is like one of the most dangerous things on the planet, because it's the only thing, like, let's just be honest. Letting go of your seed is one of the best feelings you can have physically as a human. Let's just be honest. Pornography is free. Everything else in life you have to pay for. Okay? You want a nice car, you got to pay for that. You want a nice house, you got to pay for that. You want good food, you got to pay for that. You want water? Hand me a buck. You know what I mean? You got to pay for everything in life. But pleasuring yourself, feeling the best you can feel flesh-wise is free. Why is that? Why? How is that? Almost. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to dive too deep into it right now because I'm getting lost and I'm getting off track. But just think about that. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you. This is the whole next day. What happened was, I was gonna blame it on, I had a really convoluted day. Very things get complicated. But really, it comes down to me just not being prepared. And I'm working on it. You know what I mean? It's all a process. It's all a process. Chill. I've been trying my hardest to catch up and then get ahead. But I ain't been able to catch up. We got to do that first. But this is not about that. This is about getting the word in today because everything happens for a reason. I'm happy I was able to reflect on the word that I was about to bring you because now I can bring it to you with not only more enthusiasm, but more locked in on the point that I'm trying to prove, okay? Now, I was speaking about lust, and that was the main point I'm trying to zone in on. And that's just for me personally because the pleasure that I get from smoking or drinking was so much easier to get over. I feel like a lot of people are struggling more with the third one, the latter. And let's get into it. How did Ecclesiastes feel about it? He says, pleasure is vain. I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with mirth, meaning amusement. Therefore enjoy pleasure, but surely this also was vanity. I said of laughter, madness, and of mirth, what does it accomplish? I searched in my heart how to gratify my flesh with wine, while guiding my heart with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the sons of men to do under heaven all the days of their lives. In 4-8, he goes down his accomplishments. He said, I made my works great. All right. He made houses. He made vineyards. He made gardens and orchards. He planted fruit trees. He had servants, and those servants had children, which led to more servants. He had treasures. He had it made. And in 9, he flexed on this. Says, so I became great and excelled more than all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained in me. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor. And this was my reward for all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had done, and on the labor in which I had toiled, and indeed all was vanity and grasping for the wind. There was no profit under the sun. Then I turned myself to consider wisdom, madness, and folly. For what can a man do who succeeds the king? Only what he has already done. Then I saw that wisdom excels folly as light excels darkness. A wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. Yet I myself perceived that the same event happens to them all. I'm going to skip down a little bit, go to 17. He says, therefore I hated life because the work that was done under the sun was distressing to me, for all is vanity and grasping for the wind. For God gives wisdom and knowledge and joy to a man who is great in his sight. And to the sinner, he gives the work of gathering and collecting, that he may give to him who is good before God. This also is vanity and grasping for the wind. And actually, I guess we're staying into. I want to stay right there. Because if I go too far into 3, then we're going to lose the point. Let's go back to what Ecclesiastes is about. I want to read the introduction one more time so you understand where I'm coming from when I make this connection, okay? Ecclesiastes studied the meaning of life. The teacher looks at wisdom, pleasure, work, power, riches, religion, and other things. All of these have some value and are useful in the proper time and place, but they have lasting value only if God is at the center of a person's life. Reverence and respect for God and a real devotion in serving God are the most important to make life meaningful. Without God, the teacher says, everything is meaningless. Why did I bring this up? Okay. Because so many of us try to find pleasure in worldly things. I know for me, boy, hey, man, me and Mary Jane, we were so locked in. We were so locked in, I had to let her go. Because I found God. And God is giving me real meaning, real pleasure in the soul. It hit different. And we're going to come back to Ecclesiastes. I'm going to come back to Ecclesiastes a lot. You know, I really want to have like a whole, like, I might do a whole breakdown of this chapter. I mean, this section in the book. But we want to focus on pleasure right now because you're killing your soul. All right. I don't know how to tell you. Almost the main pleasures that I can think in terms of enjoying the fruit of your labor, 9 times out, I'm gonna say a good 7 out of 10, you sinning. Like, let's just be honest. We drinking, we smoking, we having sex, you enjoy eating food. You know that can turn into gluttony. It can get confusing. I understand. I'm confused myself. That's why I'm coming to you, so you can see. It's okay if you're confused. A lot of us are. But if you have God in your life, if you go find God, okay, and you put him at the center of everything, he will answer these questions for you. All right. The pleasure that you're looking for, the emptiness that you're trying to feel, it can only be filled through Jesus Christ, bro. I'm telling you. And I'm saying this from personal account. Like, just the other week, you know what I'm saying? I was right there with you. I smoked my last blunt, and I'm sorry, getting ahead of myself. I smoked and drank for the last time on Thanksgiving, right? And I realized every time that I'm about to stop smoking, I feel nothing. I smoked by half a wood, gang, and I'm not no big, like, I'm not a crazy smoker. I'm not one of them. I smoke maybe once, twice a day, and it be a joint. You know what I mean? I might finish 1 joint a day. Let's say that. And I smoked half a wood, gang. Then got crossfaded. Had to drink on me too. You know what that opens up. You know I was lusting. Y'all seen it in the last video, actually. In the last painted video. Go look at the last painted video. How much I was trying to find fulfillment in outside things. And now it's like, and we'll get into it when we work on future art projects. But the fulfillment I get from just really having faith in God, like really trying to connect with God. My fault. I say trying. I'm not trying to connect with God. I am actively every day connecting with God and finding real fulfillment. Like, I thought when I stopped smoking, it would really be a challenge because this ain't my first rodeo. I've quit smoking before. And especially, I want to say that first week be like, you just experience things that really, I don't know. The first time I quit smoking, I was having like withdrawals and I was having problems eating. I was throwing up, all that little shit. And I'm not even no crazy smoker. You know what I mean? Like, I know people who done did it 5 years plus, quit cold turkey, no problems. Why did I have a problem? I don't know. I was also stopping vapes at the same time too, so that might be it, you know. But saying all this to say, through personal account, if you're going on your spiritual journey, or if you're a Christian trying to let go of substance, trying to let go of temptation, that the only fulfillment for those things is Jesus Christ. Because I kept running into this cycle where I would stop something, where I would stop a substance and then use another substance and substitute for that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. That's not going to help you. You're just going to keep running into different addictions. I'm saying this, especially if you've seen my personal account. Like, you got addictive personality type. And I'm trying my hardest to lead by example, you know. Like I said, I haven't smoked since Thanksgiving. That was my last time picking up the Blizzy. And actually, I think I should reinstate something I told myself, all right? I said, when I first quit smoking, I said I was going to quit until I make 10K from my brand. I want to reinstate it. Let's do it again. Run it back. Because I shouldn't even be thinking about no pleasure unless my bankroll turn into a B-roll. You feel me? Like, come on. Come on. But I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that with y'all today. I apologize for not being able to get it out on a Sunday. Hopefully this week I can prepare myself better and be ahead so that I don't have to worry about doing things last minute. Hopefully you can get it top of the morning. I'm working on it, okay? But I love y'all. You know, yeah, I love y'all. Hope you love me. If you don't watch this far, can you like the video? Okay, you don't have to like the video. Can you subscribe? Because I'm gonna run it back next week. No? All right. If you did subscribe, hit that bell. Because YouTube really be doing me dirty with my notifications. But I'm gonna let it slide. Mostly because I can't do nothing. But, you know, that bell will definitely help you stay notified when I'm posting. Don't know if you realize I've been posting consistently, or at least trying to consistently, quote unquote. I love y'all, man. See y'all next week.